What's up? So it's not your right, it's a privilege. What am I talking about? So I want to share a little backstory of this and let you know that it's not your right to drive a vehicle. It's a privilege. It's not your right to drive a vehicle and have a driver's license and drive on the road that you pay taxes for, or the land that God has given us free to drive our vehicles on. It's not your right. It's a privilege. Okay, you better remember that. I got home yesterday and I had a weird feeling when I got home. I poured a cooler. I never drink, but I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have a cooler. So I got some ice and I was making some food. All the kids were gone. They were out at events, and I heard the Lord say when I poured the one drink, He said, "Do not have another one." And I'm like, "What? Why? But I don't normally have two anyways." But He said, "The enemy's trying to destroy you." And I was like, "That's weird. Okay, whatever. I'll only have one." Anyways, I wound it down, unpacked my bags, and I went to get my one son at around 8:30, and I didn't take my wallet or my driver's license with me. And I had this like whole dialogue. I'm in like a one horse town kind of thing. It was like not a big deal. I was like, oh, I don't need it. I'm just running out and running back. But I had this whole dialogue around like if I got pulled over, like what I would say. It was really weird, but I just kind of ignored it. Got home, got ready for bed, rolled my hair in rollers, then got my pajamas on, and I talked to my daughter at 10:30, and she decided she wanted to leave this event that she was at right then. And I was like, okay, great, I'll come grab you. So I put my slippers on, and I was in my PJs with my hair rolled up, and I drove and picked her up. And on the way out, I got pulled over. They had a stop check. Is that what it's called? A checkpoint. And when I pulled over, I had this weird check in my spirit. So the officer came up and he's like, I want you to blow in this thing. Give me your license. He was very ignorant to me. And I said, well, no, why? So I asked questions. I asked question upon question because, the difference is that when we comply, and I think an example of what's happened over the last years, all the complying of those that are supposed to serve and protect us, you comply, and then they're able to do whatever they want to you because you've said yes. And so I was asking questions, so on and so forth, about why is this, and he really didn't answer me. The only thing he did was pull out a piece of paper and start reading me something. And he said, do you comply? And I said, no, I don't understand what you're saying. So no, I don't. He said, then you will be charged criminally. And I said, okay, so is that a ticket? And then he flipped out. He pulled open my door and tried to rip my seatbelt off. He was trying to get it off. My daughter was freaking out in the other seat, trying to like get his hands off me. I was trying to push his hands off me. He's like, if you don't take off your seatbelt, I'm going to cut it off. Okay, other side note, I don't drive with my seatbelt, and because I feel like it's a 50-50 chance. But when you come near an officer, put your seatbelt on because it might save you from being ripped out of your vehicle by one. Okay, so side note on that one. So anyways, the woman officer came over. She's seen the kerfuffle anyways, by the grace of God. Like I prayed when they went, whatever. She came back and she just said to me, like, here's your stuff, blah blah blah. And I reached my hand out of my vehicle and I laid it on that officer's chest, and I said, I forgive you. And I said, just so you two know, I'll be praying for you. And and I told her, I said, you guys work for me, you work for us. That's what they're supposed to do, serve and protect. And she said, well, that's us serving and protecting, like making sure you're not drinking drive. I said, I'm in my pajamas. I told you I wasn't drinking, by my word. Okay, so here's the issue. There, she told me, I said, it's my right to drive my vehicle. She said, no, it's your privilege. Now they have made it a privilege in Canada, and they are taking your rights. And if you don't start paying attention and standing up and asking questions, you're going to see something much worse. God totally told me when I went to pick up my daughter and I got my keys out of my vehicle. He said, Natasha, take your license. I heard him audibly. So he said, take your wallet, take your license with you. He knew I was going to get pulled over. God also knows He's created me to stand. Because of this, I did go home. I prayed for these guys. They really upset my daughter. My daughter was really upset about the whole situation. And so obviously I'm not in jail, by the favor of God. Whatever you are okay with on earth, it translates into the kingdom of heaven. So if you comply with the lies and the deceits and the things that they're doing illegally here on earth, then you're complying in the heavenlies. So this is just your warning that this is something that's coming out. And I just feel like for me, it was training ground. God is training me. It's so crazy because today at church, they talked about Meshach or Abednego, Meshach, and I always get those mixed up, but how they did not comply and they got thrown into the fire, and Jesus was in the fire with them. And that's something that you're going to need to take to the Lord. You know, it's coming in a time. Are you going to comply to the ways of this world and the darkness, or are you going to stand? So bless you today. I'm good. I'm doing okay. You know, I had peace the whole time. I didn't raise my voice. I stayed calm. And so, you know, because God in me, the hope of glory, you know, in his power and strength. So have a blessed day. Remember, it's a privilege to drive, not a right. The other thing I just remembered when I was talking to my daughter was I asked for his card, so his badge number, because I got assaulted, like my hand got cut and everything. And when the woman, that cop that was helping, came back, she brought her card and she said, "You can just deal with me. I'm the supervisor." And she walked away. I backed my vehicle up and said, "No, I need his badge number." And she ended up giving it to me. Of course, we also have it on video. Make sure you get badge numbers, people. Make sure you get proof. Okay.